A very good morning and thanks for tuning into the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor bringing you all the top stories. First up, the headlines. India completes a NAVIC constellation with 8th satellite, aims to create country's own GPS system. ISRO successfully places IRNSS-1I in orbit. Prime Minister Modi to lead BJP MPs in observing a day-long fast to protest against opposition-led disruptions in Parliament. Amit Shah to hold a sit-in protest in Hubballi in poll-bound Karnataka. Private industries sign a raft of defence deals on sidelines of Defence Expo 2018 in Tamil Nadu. Prime Minister Modi to formally inaugurate a 4-day meet showcasing India as defence manufacturing hub. US-Russia war of words over suspected poison gas attack in Syria. Donald Trump warns Russia of imminent military action in Syria. Moscow vows to shoot down any missile fired at its ally. And Indian wrestlers Sushil Kumar and Rahul Aware through to the finals of the men's freestyle in their respective categories at the Commonwealth Games. Babita Kumari wins all 3 bouts. Wrestler Kiran to play for bronze. Our top focus this morning, ISRO has successfully placed in orbit its navigation satellite IRNSS-1I. The launch was done early morning today from the Satish Dhawan Space Centre in Sriharikota at 4:04 a.m. The satellite that is a part of the NAVIC series was injected into the orbit by launch vehicle PSLV C-41. Here is a report.
3, 2, 1, 0, +1.
Another feather in the cap for ISRO. The Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System 1I launched successfully from Sriharikota in the morning today. The successful launch coming within 2 weeks of the launch of GSAT-6A satellite.
I am extremely happy to announce 43rd PSLV mission, this PSLV C-41, precisely injected the 8th navigation satellite of India in the NAVIC constellation, that is IRNSS-1I, precisely into the targeted orbit.
The IRNSS-1I, launched by PSLV C-41, was successfully placed in the designated orbit. This is the 43rd flight by the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, and the satellite is the 8th in the series to join the NAVIC on navigation with Indian constellation. PSLV injected the satellite into orbit 19 minutes after liftoff.
As per the data, the orbit achieved is 281.5 kilometers at perigee and 20,730 kilometers at apogee, against the specification of 284 kilometers, only 2.5 kilometers off from the perigee, where the dispersion allows up to 5 kilometers, and 70 kilometers in the apogee, where the dispersion allows up to 675 kilometers. Thus, once again proving the precise injection capability of the PSLV. This is the 43rd mission of the PSLV and 41st successful mission of the PSLV. And with this success, once again we have seen how precisely the PSLV is able to inject the satellite and very reliably.
The purpose of the satellite is to create India's own navigation system, which would be quite similar to the US's GPS or Global Positioning System. ISRO says the IRNSS can provide accurate position information service to users in India as well as the region extending up to 1,500 kilometers from its boundary.
One is in the launch vehicle, we have adopted a new technology, that is friction stir welding. That is really going to improve the productivity and also enhance the payload capability of the vehicle. In the satellite area, in fact, that the participation of industry is enhanced. We are slowly moving towards the both vehicle and satellite getting through industry. That is the one major achievements we had today. Now, this NAVIC constellation is really going to create history and going to make innovative applications to the entire community in the position-based services, especially for the underserved and unserved.
This is ISRO's third launch this year, and there are many more on the anvil.
We have a lot more missions on the anvil. For the next 8 months, we are going to have 9 missions. This one. Very, very importantly, we are going to have the GSLV Mark III D2 flight with the GSAT-29 satellite. And we are going to have the GSAT-11, is another high-throughput satellite we are going to have. Then we have housed up the PSLV missions. Then towards the end of the year, we are going to have the major mission, the Chandrayaan-2. And we have a lot more challenges to the community, to ISRO community. I'm sure that the ISRO community will rise to the occasions and achieve the missions as we desired by the country.
The IRNSS-1I mission takes place 2 weeks after the space agency launched GSAT-6A on board GSLV Mk2. Though the rocket placed GSAT-6A in orbit, ISRO lost communication with the satellite within 2 days. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
On to the other top story of the day, the 4-day-long DEF Expo 2018, a biennial exhibition of weapons and military hardware that began on Wednesday, will be formally inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Chennai today. Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says that while India's military remains the world's biggest buyer of defence equipment, it is now aspiring to become a key manufacturer and eventually an exporter. The government aims to make India as one of the top 5 manufacturers of defence platforms. Here are all the details. Defence Expo 2018. India's mega defence exhibition began with major global and domestic military firms showcasing their cutting-edge products. With the 4-day-long Defence Expo, the government is aiming to promote India as a major manufacturing destination. Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, who was on the event on Wednesday, said that India has always been the largest importer of arms and weapons, and this expo will change India's image of an importer to that of an exporter of defence products.
For those research and development organizations within the government and also for those in private sector to come together to make sure that that is achievable. And we don't need too many years for it. I think we've spent a lot of time in India working, but very much inward. Now it's the time for us to open up and look outwards, both for the market and also for technologies which you might want.
India's indigenously developed land, air and naval systems are also being showcased at the expo. Several defence deals, including those for setting up of joint ventures, were inked between private industries on the sidelines of the expo. Through this Defence Expo, the government is also pursuing its goal of achieving a turnover of 1,70,000 crore rupees in military goods and services by 2025 by promoting the domestic defence industry.
Make in India as a process has started whenever any of the industries have come into being in India. However, it has got an extra plus point and also a big push when this government announced it as one of its own mantras as Make in India, which has made a lot of difference.
Over 670 defence firms, including 154 foreign manufacturers, are participating in the exhibition of weapons and military hardware. The DEF Expo 2018 has attracted delegations from over 47 countries and seeing participation from major companies such as Lockheed Martin, Saab, The Sword, BAE System, Boeing, Airbus and Rafale. This is Panchanan Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV. On to some other news, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday called for reasonable and responsible pricing to provide easy access of affordable energy to all. Inaugurating the 16th International Energy Forum, the Prime Minister cautioned that efforts at artificially distorting the prices were self-defeating.
Energy, enabling economies to flourish.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday made the pitch for responsible pricing of oil and gas. Addressing the International Energy Forum in New Delhi, the Prime Minister asserted that it was in the interest of oil producers to allow consumer markets to grow.
Efforts at artificially distorting prices are self-defeating, as history has shown us. They also cause undue hardship, particularly to those at the bottom of the pyramid in developing and least developed countries.
The Prime Minister also outlined the vision for India's energy security and said the country will be a key driver of energy demand in the next 2 to 5 years.
Given global uncertainties, India also needs energy security. My vision for India's energy future has 4 pillars: energy access, energy efficiency, energy sustainability, and energy security.
The 16th International Energy Forum Ministerial is the largest gathering of energy ministers from across the globe. It includes industry leaders and heads of key international organizations. The IEF has 72 countries as members who account for almost 90% of global supply and demand for oil and gas.
India has been asking the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries for reasonable and responsible oil pricing to support developing economies. India's crude oil demand is expected to rise by 5% till the year 2020. India now hopes to leverage its massive demand for better terms of trade of oil purchase. Reporting from Delhi with counterperson Shiv Kumar, I'm Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi will lead BJP MPs in holding a day-long fast today to protest the opposition-led disruptions in the recently concluded Parliament session. Prime Minister Modi will observe a day-long fast, while top BJP leaders, including union ministers, will fan out across the country for a similar protest. Party Chief Amit Shah will hold a sit-in at Hubballi in poll-bound Karnataka. Besides Prime Minister Modi, Home Minister Rajnath Singh, Petroleum Minister Dharmendra Pradhan and Commerce Minister Suresh Prabhu will observe the fast in Delhi. Union Health Minister JP Nadda will also be in Parliament PM's constituency Varanasi, while Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad will travel to Patna for the protest fast. Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will observe the fast in Chennai, and Human Resource Development Minister Prakash Javadekar in Bengaluru, Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs Vijay Goyal in Tamil Nadu, and Minister of State for External Affairs MJ Akbar in Vidisha in Madhya Pradesh. Delhi BJP MPs will also fast from 10 in the morning to 4 p.m. and the Congress meanwhile has termed the BJP's fast as a farce.
कांग्रेस वाले शायद सोचते हैं कि देश की सत्ता केवल एक परिवार के पास होनी चाहिए और उसी को वह जन्मदत्त अधिकार है, लेकिन जनादेश मोदी जी के पक्ष में है और ये सत्ता हमें मिली है, लेकिन सरकार को काम करने न देना, देश की तरक्की के रोकने का काम पाप कांग्रेस कर रही है।
प्रजातंत्र के सबसे बड़े मंदिर देश की संसद को भाजपा ने न तो विपक्ष में रहते चलने दिया और न ही सत्ता पक्ष में रहकर चलने दे रही। खुद कोहराम डालते हैं, खुद व्यवधान डालते हैं और खुद संसद चलने नहीं देते। खुद अविश्वास प्रस्ताव पर चर्चा नहीं होने देते।
Let's get you some more news. In a bid to reach out to the poor rural households, the Prime Minister has announced a Gram Swaraj Abhiyaan on the occasion of Ambedkar Jayanti on 14th of April, which will continue till 5th of May. This Abhiyaan is being undertaken for spreading awareness about government welfare schemes and other people-centric initiatives to poor households. The highest importance will be given to saturate these villages with the benefits of 7 welfare programs. As a special initiative during the Gram Swaraj Abhiyaan, universal coverage under 7 welfare programs, including Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, in identified villages with large number of underprivileged households across the country has been contemplated. In Breakfast News, we'll take a very short break. We'll be right back with more news.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Sabha television documentaries.
Welcome back after the break. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with over 100 Mudra beneficiaries from across the country on Wednesday. The scheme was launched on 8th of April 2015 to ensure access of financial facilities to non-corporate small business sector. Here is a report.
At the end of 3 years of the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday interacted with over 100 Mudra beneficiaries. He said the scheme had fostered a spirit of enterprise and self-reliance among the youth and women.
प्रधानमंत्री का जो सपना था और है कि जो माइक्रो हैं, जो नीचे के लोग हैं, जो उनको उठाना ऊपर, सामाजिक दृष्टि से, आर्थिक दृष्टि से मुद्रा 200% उनके लिए सफल कारगर साबित हुआ है। आज लगभग 12 करोड़ लोगों के हाथ में गया।
Till 23rd March 2018, over 4.53 crore loans have been sanctioned, while over 2,20,000 crore has been disbursed under the scheme. Loans up to 10 lakh rupees for income-generating activities have been extended. Activities allied to agriculture, excluding crop loans, land improvement like canals, irrigation, wells, which promote livelihood, have also been included under the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana from April 2016 onwards. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs has given the Finance and Petroleum Ministers the power to award oil and gas exploration blocks to successful bidders under the Hydrocarbon Exploration Licensing Policy, or HELP, a move that could fast-track the process. Currently, awarding of the block requires the CCEA's approval, and under HELP, exploration blocks are to be awarded twice in a year. The decision is in line with the government's initiative of ease of doing business. The cabinet also made changes in the Oil Fields Regulation and Development Act of 1948, which could allow Coal India and its arms to extract coal bed methane under its coal-bearing areas without applying for a separate license. The cabinet also gave its approval for a revision of pay and allowances of lieutenant governors of union territories. This move will bring the pay and allowances of LGs at par with that of the Secretary to the Government of India. The hiked salary will be implemented from the period starting from 1st of January 2016. And the Union Cabinet also gave its ex-post facto approval to an agreement with the International Solar Alliance for India, serving as its host country. The headquarters agreement signed by the External Affairs Ministry and the ISA on 26th of March will institutionalize the functional arrangements between India and the alliance. And a week before Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Britain, the Union Cabinet on Wednesday accepted a long-pending demand of a return of illegal Indian immigrants living in the United Kingdom. An agreement to this regard might be signed during Prime Minister's visit to London after talks with the British Prime Minister Theresa May. This was a long-pending demand of British Prime Minister May with India, and she had raised the issue when she was in Delhi in November 2016 for bilateral summit with Prime Minister Modi. Prime Minister Modi will reach London on 17th of April to participate in Commonwealth Heads of Governments meet. There, he will also have a summit meeting with the British Prime Minister Theresa May, in which agreement for the return of illegal Indians will be signed. The agreement will also include a liberalization of a visa regime for diplomatic passport holders as well as common Indian citizens. And a loan of 5,280 crore rupees extended by a consortium of 31 banks led by ICICI Bank to the companies of absconding jeweler Mehul Choksi has now come under the scanner of the CBI. The agency questioned 3 officials from foreign branches of Indian banks, which had given credit facilities to the companies of absconding billionaire Nirav Modi and Mehul Choksi. While the agency officials said that their focus remains on the fraudulent LOUs, the loan of 5,280 crore rupees to the companies of Choksi in 2016 will also come under its probe at a later stage. In the case, whether a fresh FIR will be registered or the ambit of an existing FIR will be expanded, that has to be seen. Earlier in February, the agency had examined a senior ICICI Bank functionary as well in this regard. And President Nath Kovind will wrap up his 3-nation Africa visit today. President Kovind will leave from Zambia after ceremonially commencing work on the 93-kilometer Lusaka traffic decongestion project this morning. On Wednesday, President Nath Kovind held delegation-level talks with his Zambian counterpart, Edgar Chagwa Lungu. The two presidents exchanged views on bilateral and global issues. And committing to India's long-standing developmental partnership with Zambia, President Kovind also expressed appreciation for Zambia having signed the International Solar Alliance Agreement. And after the two presidents' talks, India and Zambia also signed 4 agreements on a double taxation avoidance, on judicial cooperation, on mutual visa waivers for officials and diplomats, and on the Entrepreneurship Development Institute that India will build in Zambia. India agreed in principle to provide concessional finance and support towards the construction of the Mahatma Gandhi Convention Center in Lusaka. India also gifted Zambia medicines and medical equipment worth $3 million, as well as presented $1 lakh for the Mahatma Gandhi School in Lusaka. President Kovind later also addressed the Zambia-India Business Forum, noting that the trade between the two nations has picked up significantly in the past few years. President Kovind urged all the stakeholders to diversify and expand the Zambia-India business corridor.
India is one of the largest trading partners of Zambia. The trade between the two countries has picked up significantly in the last couple of years, but going forward, we have to expand our trade basket. I encourage all stakeholders, small and medium enterprises, chambers of commerce, large companies, new entrepreneurs to diversify and expand two-way Zambia-India business corridor.
Let's get you all the international news in the wake of the Cambridge Analytica data scandal. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg on Wednesday faced a 4-hour hearing with the House Energy and Commerce Committee. Now, this was his second hearing this week, following a 5-hour session in front of 2 Senate committees yesterday. Over the 2 days, there were nearly 10 hours of hearings, during which almost 100 lawmakers grilled Zuckerberg. During the hearing on Wednesday, Zuckerberg faced a much tougher crowd of Capitol Hill. In the second day of his congressional testimony, he was pelted with tough questions on the company's data collection practices and also the need for a new regulation. During the testimony, Zuckerberg repeated an apology offered in the previous hearing that Facebook made a big mistake by not taking a broad enough view of the responsibility. He further revealed that his data was among that was harvested in the privacy scandal.
Facebook, you have control over your information. The content that you share, you put there. You can take it down at any time. The information that we collect, you can choose to have us not collect. You could delete any of it, and of course you can leave Facebook if you want. I know of no surveillance organization that gives people the option to delete the data that they have or even know what they're collecting. There's a control that for that second class of information around ad targeting.
I only have 4 minutes. Was your
them,
data included in the data sold to the malicious third parties? Your personal data?
Yes.
And US President Donald Trump has warned Russia of imminent military action in Syria over a suspected poison gas attack. Now, taking to Twitter, Donald Trump said that Russia should get ready for missiles to be fired at its ally Syria in response to an alleged chemical attack near Damascus on Saturday. Get ready, Russia, because the missiles will be coming nice and new and smart, he said. He further called Syrian President Bashar al-Assad as a gas-killing animal. On Tuesday, Donald Trump had cancelled his first official trip to Latin America so that he could focus on Syria. However, Russia has said that any US missiles fired at Syria would be shot down and the launch sites would be targeted. The Russian military said on Wednesday that it was closely watching the situation around Syria and was aware of the movements of a US naval strike force headed for the Gulf. Meanwhile, White House says that Donald Trump has not made a final decision on strikes and that all options remain on the table.
Again, the president has not laid out a timetable and still leaving a number of other options on the table, and we're still considering a number of those, and a final decision on that front hasn't been made.
And let's get you all the action from the Commonwealth Games, because India's hunt for gold continues at the Games. Three wrestlers, Sushil Kumar, Rahul Aware and Babita Kumari, are through to the finals. Babita Kumari pinned Australia's Carissa Holland down in the first period of their group match and was awarded the match within seconds of commencing. Her battle against Canada's Dinah Weiner will take place today, and that will decide the gold and the silver medals, as no other wrestler in the group can overtake them in classification points. And Sushil Kumar also is through to the final. He hardly broke a sweat in his semi-final match against Australia's Connor Evans, as he managed to pin his opponent down in the first period itself and was awarded a victory by fall. He is through to the final, where he will take on South Africa's Johannes Botha. And Rahul Aware and Mohammad Bilal of Pakistan will engage in a great grappling match today, which the Indian earlier won. He is through to the final of a men's freestyle 57 kg category. He will now take on Canada's Stephen Tatakshi for the gold. More news from the Commonwealth Games. India completed a stunning comeback with the 2 goals coming in the final 2 minutes against England to win the match 4-3 in the Commonwealth Games men's hockey on Wednesday. Trailing 3-2, India converted a penalty corner to equalize the scores. And in the dying seconds of the game, Indian skipper Manpreet Singh's ambitious shot from the half line was deflected into the goal, with Mandeep Singh getting the faintest of touches. The win ensured that India finished on the top of Group B. India will now face New Zealand in the semi-final, while England will take on hosts Australia. And this is the Commonwealth Games medals tally as of now. India has got in total 24 medals so far, with 12 gold medals. That's it in this edition of News, but news and updates continue on Rajya Sabha television. Thanks for watching.